If you had the opportunity to completely start over, what would you do? Would you even recognize it as an opportunity?
I just spent a year feeling half dead, been laid off for 6 months, and I just resigned from my job.
Executive order also applies to gyms, spas, and theaters. They too will close just 3 hours from now. The governor acknowledges it is an unprecedented step, but these are unprecedented times.
It's going to create a lot of challenges, and it's going to be hard.
We're asking for help because we need it.
Well, that kind of sucked. When you're watching that, you're probably thinking, hey, we all kind of had it tough during the pandemic. Why is he so emotional over this career thing? And what you may or may not have picked up from that first scene in 2020 was that shot in my stomach. The career was just 1/3 of the trifecta that kind of struck in March of 2020. My dog's in here. Hi. Hi. You want to be in the video? Okay. Anyway, where was I? The trifecta. Yeah. So the career thing, spent about a decade alongside some really good friends building up that company. It was called Applied Fitness Solutions. We had a really cool community, literally thousands of people across a few locations. And when the pandemic came on, it was very obvious very quickly that at least a few of those locations were not going to make it. And that ended up coming to fruition. Then there's a health thing. Starting in about 2017, maybe 2016, 2017, I started to have some kind of weird health symptoms. I was getting close to 30 at the time, so I kind of thought it was just like getting older, but digestion issues, constipation, and I had this pretty ongoing joint pain. I had pain in my ankles and my hips and my shoulders, and I worked out all the time and I played hockey a lot, so I thought it was just part of that, but I really was having trouble recovering from all those things. And I'd wake up in the mornings just feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. Those symptoms kind of ended up worsening, and then I started to have neurological symptoms. I was having bad bouts of dizziness with what some people call POTS or postural. I think it's postural orthostatic. More or less you stand up and you get dizzy, but a lot and severely to where you're passing out. Was having anxiety, was starting to have just issues like getting up and getting going with life. It was really starting to become a struggle. I'd be at work and I'd notice like my hands would start twitching, and then I'd notice weird spasms all over. So I'm like getting all worried, like, oh my gosh, do I have ALS or do I have Parkinson's or what's going on here? And I, to be honest, was a little bit afraid to go get checked out at first. Eventually though, I think in 2019, I started to like do my rounds at all the different specialists. Like I saw a gastroenterologist, I saw a cardiologist because I was having really kind of bothersome heart palpitations and I was getting dizzy, and saw my general doctor, started seeing naturopathic people too. And like I said, in 2019, I kind of took a drastic step and I decided, well, if I'm having trouble figuring out what this is, professionals don't know what it is. I've been seeing all this stuff on podcasts and on YouTube about these medicine journeys. You know, you can go do ayahuasca and people get profound insights there. You can do psilocybin or whatnot. So I got more and more intrigued with that idea until in November of 2019, I ended up doing a mushroom journey. It was unfacilitated, which I don't recommend. I really think now that I've had a little bit more experience with it, if you're gonna do something like that, you're best served, especially if you're in a screwed up place, to do it in a facilitated way. And you can find those retreats all over. But did it unfacilitated. Went in with the intention of figuring out, or like asking my inner guides, what's causing this illness? What is the root? Because I was trying to address all the symptoms. I'm like, oh, I have a stomach issue. I need to clean up my diet. And, you know, as I said, I was already a healthy person. I was exercising a lot. And so I wanted to know the root cause of what I was dealing with. And this is where the emotional part of my trifecta comes in. We did the journey. It was me, my fiance, and a great friend of ours. The day of, it was remarkable, but I think it would be unremarkable compared to other things that you're going to find on YouTube videos. But nothing really came in that day about what was going on health-wise. So I got to the end of the day and I just sort of chalked it up to, okay, well, it must not have been time to figure this out, I guess. Something really wild happened the next day. I was home alone, so my fiance had gone to, she was on a work trip. I was asleep. It was like 1 a.m. And I remember I woke up from like a dead sleep. I started having this nightmare. And the nightmare was of a vivid experience I had when I was, I want to say around 9 years old, when I witnessed pretty severe domestic violence, alcohol involved, with my parents at my house. And man, it was just so jarring. I literally was the little kid again. I was the 9-year-old Nate, like watching these things happen and viscerally seeing the images and hearing the sounds. And I woke up and I was soaked in sweat and I was like bawling my eyes out. And that was when I like was given the insight. I wasn't told in words, but I was shown, hey, this is inside your body. The memory of these instances, and it wasn't just one, has imprinted itself on you, and it is causing a vast amount of unease inside of you. If you want to get better, you're going to need to go back and integrate these experiences. Needless to say, that next day was a very tough day. I didn't really know what I needed to do to integrate, but I was very certain that the insight I was given was correct. I had basically bottled or sort of shoved down a lot of those experiences from when I was a young guy, and they waited until I was 30 or so to kind of start showing themselves again and say, hey man, we're in here. There's a very injured child inside that needs healing. So I'd like to tell you that there was like this turning point at that time where I knew exactly what to do, and I just went and like checked off a few things, and like my life started going like this. What really happened, and this is why I really want to caution you against just running out and doing one of these medicine journeys. What really happened is that the journey unlocked about 6 months of severe anxiety, that I had never experienced before. It really felt like it was all of the unease that I would feel in my stomach back in those days when I wasn't sure how safe I was or how safe my family was. It was like it all came back at once, as if my body was like purging it out. It was so bad. I remember we had a holiday party about a month after the experience, and this is right before the pandemic came. And I'm a pretty outgoing person. I actually like speaking to people. Probably not coming off that way now, but I'm a pretty silly guy too. And I was afraid to leave my house to go to our company Christmas party. I was afraid to just face people and interact with them because I was in such a dark spot that I just was like, I was laying on my bed weeping because I didn't know how I was going to go and face other people. And that went on for months. Now, as you saw, the pandemic came along, which made it pretty easy to become a recluse. During that time of like going into the cocoon and trying to figure out how do I heal these things, I basically just resolved that like, okay, well, if there's unease within you, you need to go back and have every hard conversation, like with your parents, with your sister, go anything even that you've done in the past that to like a transgression against another person, big or small, if it's something that you're aware of and you're carrying as like a weight, you have to go back and like remove all this weight. Your career, it's gotta change. It's crumbled. Your physical health, very bad. You need to figure that out. You need to put a ton of time and attention and energy into that to get to the root. Mental health, emotional health, you need to heal. You need to discover your voice. You need to have those conversations. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about how I went about figuring out what my health issues were. Hint, it's still ongoing. What kind of shifts I made from a career standpoint, and emotionally, what the conversations were like and what the experience was like to rip off the Band-Aids and remove all that heavy weight I was carrying. So if you watch this far, you must either be very bored or very intrigued because some part of this story resonates with you. So either one, I feel lucky that we spent some time together, and I'll see you guys in the next video.